Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. Listen, it's a lot of people coming online saying the insurance companies are not paying out on their claims. Some people, they wouldn't even take their claims. And that's happening in New Jersey. See, these areas that are getting flooded have never been prone to floods before. But now it's almost like every rainstorm that hits certain areas, they just keep flooding over and over. And these people, they can't get the insurance company to pay out on them claims. So their houses are flooded. If they can't do the work themselves, they are screwed. So these are not just cropping up for homeowners insurance, also car insurance. These cars that are underwater during floods, a lot of these insurance companies are not paying out on the claims for your car being underwater because of the natural weather. So, there's a few cars in here, even car accidents. Now they're starting to act funny style towards people getting in car accidents. And it seems to be insurance all across the board, homeowners, cars, health. People can't get them to pay out on their health claims. It is crazy out here, for real you know and the people they're getting, y'all, are people that have been paying into their homeowners insurance sometimes 20 years, never missed a payment. A natural disaster happens or some type of disaster at their house, and the insurance company not only won't pay out on their claim, they get thrown off the insurance. So after being a loyal customer for years, so it don't pay. Yeah, insurance companies are scammers. They have been for many years. They have screwed a lot of people over that have faithfully paid their premiums. That is so true. That is so true. And don't call them because you want a new roof on your house. They'll cut your butt off. Yeah. In Florida, forget it. You go down there, you're going to have a hard time getting insurance because of all the natural disasters that happen down there. Or if you get it, it's going to cost you an arm and or leg. I think they are 7 times higher than people in other states. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. So let me share my screen so you can hear the stories of these people. Boy, it is crazy. And if you're going through a natural disaster and you're renting, a lot of landlords are refusing to repair the damage. People are going through that. They'll have renter insurance and they'll have a flood or a fire at their homes. They'll call the landlord, and the landlord flat out tell them they're not fixing it. So a lot of that is going on as well. Okay. Let me share my screen so we can get started. Okay, please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Yeah, my uncle got insurance down in Florida where he lives. He lives in Miami Gardens, and he was telling me when he told me how much he paid on his insurance, I almost fell out of my chair. I probably pay half of what he pays. I mean, it is crazy down there in Florida. Thank you, y'all. All right, let's get started.
It's just what did you last time do? Yeah, it's just flooding. It's flooding? Yeah. Are you okay? Yeah, yeah. Everything's wrong. Do you have a landlord's number? Yes. Can you call them, please? Because my phone is in the water. Liam, ¿te puedes poner? You want to see? Everything is Siéntate aquí, Leon. Párate ahí. Es okay, te va a cuidar. Oh, yeah.
The first big rupture in the US insurance market happened decades ago when most companies stopped covering flooding. Companies decided flooding was just uninsurable. That's because it's complicated to figure out which places will flood and how often these floods would occur. They did not have the maps or the statistical basis to calculate what the premiums could be, which is the bread and butter of insurance. That led the federal government to create the National Flood Insurance Program in 1968, and it now provides the vast majority of residential flood insurance in the United States. The program is backed by taxpayer dollars, but it is chronically in debt, no surprise there, and is increasingly unaffordable by homeowners because it was not designed for the enormous climate risks that the US now faces. In the decades since the program's creation, climate change has made other types of disasters like hurricanes and wildfires more unpredictable and expensive, which is slowly undermining private insurance markets state by state. After Hurricane Andrew caused an estimated $26 billion of damage in 1992, the state's insurance market was falling apart. So this has been going on for 30 years. Some insurers went bankrupt back then. Others pulled back, and the price of insurance rose for homeowners in Florida. 13 years later, Hurricane Katrina unleashed a home insurance meltdown in Louisiana. In both states, private insurance markets never fully recovered. That pushed more homeowners to rely on special state-run plans that are only available if you can't get homeowners insurance through a private company. Those state-run insurers of last resort were forced to take on billions of dollars in homeowner insurance policies that no private company would accept. Uninsurable places are growing across the 50 states, but that's especially true for California, Florida, Louisiana, which have larger and more frequent disasters, hurricanes, wildfires. There are different factors at play in all three states, but similar outcomes are happening. More people are being driven to state-supported insurance as a last resort, where they typically have to pay more money for a narrower policy. While Allstate and State Farm have declined to write new policies, smaller insurers in states like Louisiana and Florida have gone bankrupt totally, driving people out of their insurance altogether. For instance, in Louisiana, 17% of homeowners' insurance policy had their policies canceled in 2022, according to an annual report from Louisiana State University. Meanwhile, more than 2/3 of policyholders said homeowners and flood insurance are more expensive in Louisiana than other states. More and more states are looking to state-backed insurance providers to be the insurer of last resort for homeowners who are not able to find policies elsewhere. But in Florida, Citizens Property Insurance, the state insurance provider for the last 20 years, has also seen the number of policies rise about 50% in the last year because of the private companies pulling out of Florida. So,
listen, everybody knows what happened May 29, 2025. Cheney family household destroyed, hit by the EF2 tornado, 135 miles per hour winds, right? Destroyed all of our belongings, the whole crib gone. Malachi suffering from the worst injuries you could think of. The state did not declare it as a natural disaster, which means however traumatic, devastating it was. It wasn't significant enough to exceed the state's capacity, which means I have no access to federal assistance, no disaster relief funds or anything like that. That's not acceptable. It's been 78 days. Y'all don't know what me and my family is suffering from in silence. None of that. All I hear is, oh yeah, it's good that your son is doing great. You're not his caregiver though. You don't see him at night. You don't see the headaches. You don't see anything that's happening with me and my wife. 3 to 4 days a week, I'm in therapy because of this. It's been 78 days, and all that y'all speak about insurance all the time. Insurance won't tell you nothing unless you ask. So it's not like I woke up one day and said, May 29th, my whole entire house is going to get hit by a tornado, and I know how to do it. We've been figuring this out as we go, and I keep hearing from certain people in the state just saying, well, your insurance. What is the state doing? This is $1 million problem. You know what I'm saying? I can't even put a price on it, what we've been going through for the last 78 days, and I'm sick of suffering in silence, for real. I can't really go back to work because I gotta be my son's caregiver every single day. As the provider, the husband, the father, the protector, and right now, I'm sick of not speaking up. You know, when you start coming to your senses after a while, when things, you know, starting to ease a little bit and kind of trying to fall in place, you start thinking like, it's y'all can't keep saying it's nothing you can do. It's nothing we can do. Something has to be done. Something got to be done, man, because I don't know nobody that reaches out from the state that's like, oh, I just got hit by a tornado yesterday. Y'all don't know what it feel like. You know what I'm saying? And even with, like I said, with the insurance thing, it's like, oh, we're going to move you to this hotel, to this hotel. You know how many times I had to move within the last 3.5 going on 4 months? At least 5 or 6 times, and got to move again. So something has to be taken care of, man. And I'm sick of chilling, you know what I'm saying? Because it ain't no time to chill right now. I've been chilling for the last 78 days, just really focusing on Malachi. Diffuse accidental injury. That's a traumatic brain injury. That's a lifelong sickness. That's a lifelong caregiver. He has to be taken care of forever off of that. He'll never be normal again. I don't care how much we smiling, we laughing. We got to do that to keep from crying. That's real. So something got to be done, man. I'm hollering at the state, all of the senates, the legislative team, whatever, man. We need to talk about something because this ain't cool. And I don't want to keep on hearing insurance. They should be doing this. They should be doing that. They're not. We didn't just lose the house and everything in it, you know? You don't see the pictures of him on damn near his deathbed. Like doctors looking like every broken bone in his face and ribs broke and brain injury, bleeding on the brain, neck broke. Yeah, he got the neck brace on, but y'all don't understand 3-4 times a week in therapy because of this, man. Come on, man. Like some guy shake. I'm sick of hearing the word no, we can't do this, we can't do that. Something has to be done. I don't understand it.
Life could be worse. No, not really. This is the worst.
This is the worst.
This is the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'm making my fur baby's food, but okay, because as y'all know that my sister, her house fell down during the tornado. Tornado took away her house, and they didn't have insurance. But the thing about it is, it wasn't because they couldn't afford the insurance, although everything was going into that house, building it because they owned that house, and rehabbing and everything like that. But it's not because they couldn't afford it up, although with that, it's because they got denied for it. They got denied. They didn't get approved for their home to be insured. Interesting, very interesting, because they said that the house was too old because their house was made in like 1897, somewhere around that. But that's most houses in St. Louis, especially like on South Side, where certain other people may stay that, that I'm pretty sure, I know they house is insured. I know it for a fact. I know it is, you know what I'm saying? Meticulous care, looks wonderful. But it's in a different neighborhood, but their houses are just as old. But in the historical Black community, oh, we can't insure y'all. the place where generational wealth. Oh, we can't insure y'all. So if something does happen to it, then that generational wealth is affected, because we all know that real estate is how to gain wealth in America and damn near in the world. So if your real estate can't even be insured, so it wasn't any due to any fault of their own. So that's a lot of those houses over there got denied insurance, is my point. So now when things like this happens, a tornado come wipe it out, they're not insured because big companies didn't want to insure them, affecting generational wealth, increasing the gap, the economic gap, increasing that, putting back us folks for generations, trying to make that back. So it's a lot of things that I can't say I don't know. But that's it for entertainment purposes only. I don't know. But that's what I do know is they got denied, saying it was too old. But it's a lot of houses older than that. Like these old historic brick houses that's in South Side and West. Like that's most houses in St. Louis. It's old, over 100 and some years old. That's normal. So you didn't tell me because of the age. So that just lets me know what game is being played. What game is being played. And I just thought of it. It makes me think about how all of those people in LA, how their insurance got canceled a little while before the fires. I'm just bringing that up, not related. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like we not gonna act like that the night of the tornado, that there was some people down there asking if people want to buy their land. Are you ready to sell? People are trying to process their whole life savings going up in dust, in brick dust. But there was people down there already asking, you want to sell your property? What you plan on doing? Huh? People definitely want that property because it's very prime property in that area, but a bunch of black folks was living over there. How can we utilize and get that? I'm pretty sure somebody said that. How can we get that land that's already being occupied by people that we don't deem fit to own such a valuable land? I'm pretty sure somebody, maybe possibly, could have said that. Maybe possibly implemented something to get that. Maybe for entertainment purposes only. But I'll keep you updated. Very interesting things going on in St. Louis, baby. Keep you updated, though.
One of the biggest scams in America is insurance. Whether it's life insurance, health insurance, car insurance, or home insurance, it is a scam. And yet, it's forced upon us. It's illegal to drive your car without car insurance, right? You can't have a home loan without homeowners insurance. Should we have these things? Yeah, we should. If it actually worked the way it was supposed to, it would be a great idea. However, regardless if it's death, if it's health, if it's home, if it's car, they will try to get out of paying you every single time. And then they leave you stuck with high premiums and high deductibles, right? And then when a disaster actually happens, they start canceling your insurance. This kind of happened to us a couple of years ago when the Gulf Coast was hit so bad with multiple hurricanes. However, my area is not a flood prone area, and we are not really like on the coast. But a lot of insurance companies decide to stop carrying coverage in Mississippi. And because of that, we had to find someone who would. And the kicker is we live in an older home. So our roof was about at the 25-year mark. And because it was at the 25-year mark, even though there were no leaks and it was perfect and it was a great roof, they made us pay out of pocket to put on a new roof just in order to have anybody cover our house, because, you know, you had to have it to have a loan. Otherwise, they could stick you with something that's like 10 times what we were going to end up with anyway. Like, make it make sense.
I know we have a lot of people with a lot of thoughts about socialized healthcare, but let me tell you a fun story. I work with somebody whose apartment caught on fire and they lost everything. Literally, it was 100% loss. And today at work, she shut her door and said, "Oh, sorry, just my meds are wearing off because I don't have my afternoon dose." And I said, "Wait, what?" And she said, "They got burned in the fire and my insurance won't cover it because it's considered damaged meds and they don't have to replace damaged meds." A fire. She gave him her Red Cross number that proves that it was a fire. They don't care. That is health insurance in America. I can tell you one thing, we sure as crap don't need socialized healthcare. Oh, wait.
Got my first car 8 halves. Storm on 9/1 completely destroyed my new car. Haven't even gotten my car for a month yet, and this happens. Insurance isn't covering full car, only had 750 miles SMH. Might have to pay over $4K. What should I do? RIP. Lexi.
Welcome back, everyone, to this shit show of flooding basement. I'm going to show you the progress that we have gotten done today. This whole room here is the laundry room. All of the tile is up. This is the shop area, and this is how much tile we have gotten up so far. It is peeling off, but there are some where it's underneath stuff that's harder for us to get to. But this is what we're working with at this moment. I would also like to share that the insurance is not going to be covering any of the damages. Not a single thing. So, with this flood, we ended up losing our hot water heater, our furnace, washer and dryer, the floor, and yeah, pretty much everything except for some tools and some cabinetry, but I don't know, like we're gonna have to air it out. I don't know what the fuck we're gonna do, dude. Like, this is a whole other level of feeling defeated. Why the fuck do we pay insurance for them to not fucking do a goddamn thing? Like, I'm sorry for swearing so much, but we are livid. We have to find a way to come up with a new furnace, a new hot water heater, a new washer and dryer. I need the washer and dryers, not only for our clothes, but because I wash my rags for my cleaning business. So now I need to take my shit to the dry cleaners and spend money that we should be saving to buy fucking appliances. We are going to be taking showers at Jeremy's parents' house until further notice. Thankfully, they are 7 minutes down the road. We need to figure out where we're going to get a furnace from and a hot water heater before winter. That is coming up. It is right around the fucking corner. It is almost the end. I mean, it's the middle of August, but with how the weather and climate change and everything that's been going on, fall is right around the corner. So is winter. So, yeah, we need to figure something out because our emergency fund isn't going to put a fucking dent in this shit. Fuck me.
So I got this in the mail today from Travelers Insurance. It's basically saying that my homeowner's policy is not eligible for renewal because I made 3 claims in the past few years. Look, we are non-renewing your policy because of these claims made due to water damage. And guess what? They didn't pay me anything for those claims. I was a dumbass and called them, had them take a look at it, and apparently I'm not supposed to do that. Apparently, you're not supposed to call your insurance when you're in trouble. Don't do it. What you're supposed to do is pay them every single year for the rest of your life. And when you make a claim, and even if you don't get paid from it, they drop you. They drop you. I'm seriously confused. I guess this is legal. You remember the rains that California had like earlier this year and last year? They're probably dropping everybody.
Don't scroll yet, please. This is a warning. If you are looking for homeowners insurance, do not use Allstate. It has been 1 month tomorrow that my family and I have not been able to be at our home because our foundation collapsed and hit our pipes, which also busted our water and everything. The fire department came out and said we are not allowed to live in our home. Allstate has given us temporary housing. They wanted to stop the temporary housing 2 weeks ago. I pushed and pushed and pushed and got 2 more weeks. And today they told me they cannot do anything else for us, even though we literally will have no home. We cannot go home. We were told by the city that we cannot be in our home. The first week, Allstate stated that they were going to send out an engineer to determine the cause of the collapse to see that if it would be covered. They never did that. After I made a TikTok and everyone was tagging Allstate, we finally got some traction and I received a call from a manager. They gave us 1 more week of temporary housing, that was last week, and asked if there was anything else that they could do. I stated, please send someone out to my residence to look at this and see if it is covered. Prior to this, they did a virtual inspection for 10 minutes on the phone. My husband held the phone up and they said, nope, it's not covered. The sad part about it is they have paid for our temporary housing as much. The cost of that is as much as the foundation is cost to fix. And we could have stayed with a family member and all of this would have been over. I finally received a text back today about an hour ago stating that they have been trying to call us. We have no missed calls. We have been answering every single call. Even if it's a spam call, we've been answering every single call. Trust me, our whole entire fucking life it's crazy right now. Of course I'm going to answer every call and be on my phone 24/7. They gave us the number. Now an engineer is scheduled to come out the week of the 28th. 5 weeks into this claim. Allstate is the most expensive insurance company that there is. They are worth $52 billion. And the fact that they can't even help us, a family of 5 with animals as well, you can't even help us without me having to literally make TikToks and try to put your name out there and all these things. And now we are just done. Our city will not allow any work to even be done on the house until a structural engineer comes out. So this whole time we could have had the work started already. Thankfully, we are borrowing money from a family member, and if we are able to get reimbursed, we will. But This is just your fair warning. Do not use Allstate. Take it from me, do not use Allstate. The reason why our temporary housing has been accepted is because of the plumbing issue. It was sudden from the wall collapsing. There really needs to be a gray area for things like this. So you're telling me if it didn't hit the plumbing, we really would have been not covered at all. They would have just done a virtual inspection and we would have been homeless at that point. Just be really careful. If anything like this ever happens, you have to kind of be pushy about things. This is your family. This is your home. You pay them every month for things like this to be covered. And for them to just say, no, it's not covered, and they wanted us to just accept that from a virtual inspection is really grimy, and it goes to show they're just as bad as health insurance. Any insurance in America is shit, okay? I'm just telling you guys, just beware. You can follow my journey. I make TikToks about this, and I will keep you guys updated on everything. I'm going to go pack and get all our stuff together and go stay in a 1-bedroom with me and my 3 kids and our dogs. So can't wait for that. Glad we have somewhere to go, but this has been insane, and it's looking like we will not be in our home for at least another month. So thanks if you watched the whole thing. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Yo, I just got off the phone with my father with his wife in the background, and I got some bad news. His house insurance policy does not cover a fucking cent of that burn due to the policy needed adjusting a while ago, and there's some, I don't know how my dad explained it. All I know is they were told flat out that insurance is not covering a fucking cent of their house burning to the ground. So again, I'm asking you guys to go to my profile, go view all of the pinned videos, go to the GoFundMe and my link in my bio, donate to them, because now we're rebuilding completely out of pocket. We have no money other than what's in the GoFundMe for them, and that's only at $3,000. And now we're finding out this morning that there is nothing we can do as far as house insurance and getting money towards rebuilding. So please like, share, comment on all of those fire videos. It's for my dad and my stepmom. They own a bunch of livestock, and thankfully none of the livestock was harmed in the house fire, but my dad's entire house burnt down, and they are starting from scratch with no money. Nothing is getting paid unless it's out of pocket. So please, 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 please help us out. This is fucking horrendous to even imagine. And then we were banking on homeowners insurance helping us get going and donations from people helping us get going. And homeowners insurance isn't covering anything, not a cent. So please help us, dude.
We've recently had a huge tragedy in our lives, and my husband needs some help. We had a fire, lost both parents, and lost everything in the fire, including any paperwork or anything that would have said anything about insurance or anything. If we don't know how to locate if they had any type of a homeowner's insurance, anybody on here, on my TikTok, and my 13,000 followers, is there a way to find out if somebody had homeowner's insurance without having paperwork or without knowing any information? If you do know this, please message me, drop a comment in the comments and let me know that you're going to message me. Anything would help, because we're going through something tragic right now, and we are at a standstill with anything because we don't know where to go, where to look, where to start. Leave a comment, message me, please. If you know how to find out if there's homeowner's insurance on a home without any paperwork, without any trails of anything, let me know.
Ladies and gentlemen, these stories are coming out all over the country. And as you can see, there's a lot of white people that can't even get their insurance claim even acknowledged by their insurance company. And I was even looking at some videos. Unfortunately, they had music on there, so I couldn't use it. There were some after a tragedy struck and their home was damaged. They called the insurance company, and what rep was on the other end flat out refused to even take their claim. They wouldn't even document the claim. I mean, damn, you're right. It is the biggest scam going in America. And a lot of people are impacted by this. And it's a shame. I mean, I knew it was bad. Look, when all those rich folks lost their homes in California, they said some of those houses, some of those big mansions were worth 14, 15 million dollars or even more. The insurance company, you know what they did to them rich folks? They gave them $1 million, and that was it. They said the insurance company said if they would have given them more, they would have had to go bankrupt. So even if your house was worth $15 million, the insurance company would only give you $1 million. That was it. So even they got screwed. Now, if they're going to screw over rich people like that, you can imagine what they will do to people that don't have much, you know? And it was the same way with Hurricane Sandy. When that hit New Jersey, New Jersey took a direct hit from Hurricane Sandy. And it was all these multi-million dollar homes down by the beach. You know what? They told them white people, because they were really the ones that owned those homes, those beachfront homes that they rent out. They told them they weren't giving them nothing. Nothing. And they didn't give them a dime. Many of those homes that were right there on the beach got dragged into the ocean. So there was no home on the land anymore. It was quite a few of them that got dragged into the ocean. And they did not give those. They had to tell those homeowners of those multi-million dollar homes they weren't getting nothing. And they sure didn't pay them nothing. They didn't pay nothing. So it just goes to show you, just because you go through a natural disaster, it is not guaranteed that your insurance company is going to help you. Maybe a couple of years back it was, but not anymore. And that's sad. I do feel sorry for that brother that was talking to his kid. It got all messed up in that tornado and seems to be very incapacitated. That is really sad, on top of losing everything. But yeah, it is the most, if anybody wants to do anything, they should do something about the insurance. I mean, look, y'all remember when United Health CEO got gunned down out here? He was killed. And they said, I think over 90% of the claims that came in got denied. So they just sat there, people paying premiums as big as a mortgage. And they were denying the majority of the claims, just ruining people's lives. So if you don't pay out on the claim, that means that big hospital bill you're going to have to pay. And hey, if you got some surgery or you had to be in there for a length of time, yeah, you were really screwed with the medical debt. Man, yeah, these people are always trying to do you wrong, always trying to screw you over. And it's a shame that it's like this. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. And I got another live stream coming up at 9:45. If you can come back, please do. And thank you to James Mitchell. Thank you for becoming a new channel member. And Monica Gregory, thank you so much for your super sticker and your support for my channel. All right, y'all. I sure hope none of you are going through hell with these insurance company. I'll take that to the Most High and I will pray for you because, I almost cringe at the thought of some type of disaster happening and I got to deal with the insurance company. That will truly be a nightmare. These days, you just don't know what they're going to do. If they're going to stand by you or are they going to just leave you stranded like these folks in the videos that I just showed you. All right, y'all. Please have a wonderful evening and shalom, family.